Hello, hello. It's Wednesday already, day 3, sprinkling challenge. Heather Jean here. I am so excited for this day. We are talking about really nourishing the seeds. So if you're just joining us here, we are talking about clearing space, and we're talking about, kind of day 1 we talked about like loosening up the soil and really, just kind of getting ready for our garden. And then day 2 we talked about, planting our seeds and really kind of, making incremental changes and shifts where we need to, and celebrating where we're doing really well. And day 3 is about nourishing the seeds that we've planted. So for spring, for me, it conjures up gardening, and I don't know why, because I'm not at all a gardener. So it's kind of ironic. But one of the things that I will say, if you're just joining us today, or if you've been with us for all 3 days, is go back to your intentions, right? Intentions are everything. So knowing what your intentions will help your brain naturally be seeking the responses, the goals, the information, the ideas, the creativity, whatever it is that you need to fulfill your intentions, and your brain will focus on that for you. So each day go back to your intentions and think about, what is it that I'm trying to nourish, what is it that I'm trying to grow, and then check in with yourself and think about, what does your garden need? So do you need more water? Yesterday I clearly didn't have enough water because I was up at 5:30 this morning, and I'm not a morning person, to get more water because I obviously hadn't drunk enough in the day. Some days, what I need is to really, kind of get on with work and face truth of what it is that I need to do to take action to fulfill my intentions. And some days it's more of tapping into the feminine energy and tapping into that need to focus on hope or to find my voice. And what, not just, I never lose my voice because I'm a strong extrovert, but I sometimes have to go back to my voice about what it is that I want to be expressing and what it is that I'm suppressing, and where do I need to follow my intuition on that. So there's various things that might be in your body or in your mind, and if we talk about it, there's a lot in Confidence Through Cabaret. It's a connection, right? What's real in your mind, because your body has a physiological response, and the same with what's in your body. It conjures up thoughts that that support that. So we talk quite a lot, for example, about when we feel fear in our body, then our brain goes, "Oh my goodness," and vice versa. If your brain is doing this, then your body will feel fear, and by shifting it to sensations of excitement, which feels the same in our body, it shifts our thoughts. So that's just an example. So for today, we are talking about nourishing our seeds. And so, hey, Hazel, thank you for being so kind-hearted and generous to be able to share with us your space, the pictures that it's inspired me. I'm getting a money tree. I have a plant, but I'm getting a money tree. So thank you for that. The ideas, go check out Hazel's posts on day 1. And also yesterday, Hazel, for sharing your art project about, kind of coming up with memories and expression of that. And I love that you picked up yesterday on, changing routines of things that aren't serving us. Shaking it up, it's that there's a truism, and it's a truism because it's true, which is, change is as good as a rest, right? So shaking things up is really great. So glad that you caught me live today. Much appreciated. Say hello if you are here or when you're watching on replay. But I want to dive into arguably my favorite topic these days around nourishing the seeds, which is really about how we feel in our body. So we can change our internal dialogue. We can change those affirmations that play on a loop, which create our beliefs if we say it enough times. sometimes not so positive or supportive. And so we can change that internal dialogue when we change how we feel in our body and about our body. And one of the things that can happen when you're talking about unwrapping ourselves after the winter and really getting out, I'm dressed for winter today because it's a little bit cold, and I'm running an event this evening, so I don't want to be cold. But kind of like making ourselves more available bodily for the sun, and a lot of times, it can be difficult to feel like, oh, it's shorts season, or it's skirts season, or it's whatever the season is that you feel less comfortable in. But this whole unwrapping can bring up lots of things. And so for nourishing the seeds, there are lots of ways to nourish ourselves. Of course, check back in with, what does your garden need today? What do you need in your mind and body and spirit? But I really want to kind of talk about what happens when we express ourselves in the world and let our body embrace that. So there's a beautiful quote, and I've posted this in the community before, from Coco Chanel, which is, beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself. And for me, that says so much. Being yourself is about owning your space unapologetically, is about expressing yourself, is about sharing your message. And when you express who you are, you flow in the world. And for me anyway, my parents told me not to, like, be a little quieter, Heather, calm down, stop talking, lots of those kind of affirmations that played in my head for a very long time. And if it stays with us, then sometimes it becomes, who we are. But I want to separate that to, it isn't who you are. It's the labels that you were given, and now you choose to give to yourself. And so it's time to discover who you really are, so that you can nourish those seeds, being wise, being loving, being creative, being, whoever you are and whoever you choose to be. But you need to hear that repeated over and over. And that's where the affirmations come in. And if you check back on day one, there's some affirmations. I have 50 affirmations that I have, and I check back in with those throughout the day, because if you do your affirmations in the morning or in the evening once a day, it doesn't change the beliefs, right? Because you're still playing on the loop the other affirmations that might be coming up for you. So I'm going to take a little bit from my master classes that I run usually monthly around body confidence. So some of this might be familiar to you if you've been to my webinars, or if you haven't made it yet, then this is exciting. But this is really about feeling good in your body. So if you think about, what does your body allow you to do? And what is its function? Because so often we think we have to punish ourselves with exercise or diets, or restrictions of some sort, or we need to punish ourselves with negative thoughts, or things that we want to change. And it's important to realize that you have a body that is there, that is not just there to be attractive, or it's there to support you and to give you the strength that you need to be able to do the things that you want to be able to do. And our bodies do so much for us to, function to the best of their ability, whatever that might be, and sometimes we have restrictions, and some of us have permanent restrictions, but it is really about, kind of tuning into what it is that your body can and does for you, and love that. And that's where you can plant the seeds of self-love. So, have a think about things like, what have you avoided out of what your mind is saying to you, or what the programming is saying to you about, for example, did you avoid sports when you were in school because you were told that you were useless, or that was me, coordination, or you avoid working out because you don't want to go to that place because you'd feel like you can't keep up, which is crazy. I do aerial dances, and a lot of times people say, I would love to do pole dancing, but I can't because I'm not fit enough. Well, guess what? That's how you get fit enough, right? Like, you start there. But a lot of us will avoid because of the clothes that you need to wear, or showing up and maybe not being able to keep up, or not having the coordination. Or dancing's another one, right? Like, we tell ourselves, like, I don't have rhythm, or and that makes me crazy, because I don't have rhythm, right? I genuinely don't. And I don't remember choreography. But you know what? I have rhythm. I have my own rhythm. What I don't have is the society's version of rhythm. I'm doing my own thing. I'm moving, and I love that. And Hazel's saying, I've been living in a big fluffy dressing gown for months. Me too. Me too. Partly, I guess, if I'm honest, I hadn't really thought about this because I was just thought I was doing that because I was cold. But it feels secure, and especially if it's fluffy. And mine is kind of a pretty red color, so it makes me feel colorful. But actually, if we are doing that, it is time to shed that, right? So go find some other clothes, Hazel, that will keep you warm enough in this kind of variable weather that we're having in the UK. But, it's one thing when it's snuggly, and it's another thing when it's kind of hiding. And that's when we want to peel off those layers. So do you avoid wearing certain clothes because of, what you've been told or what you tell yourself about what's okay? Do you, are there things you want to change in your body? And do you worry about that they're not changed? There are definitely things that I want to change in my body. I'm nowhere near as strong or as flexible or as fit as I was before COVID. And I'll be honest with you, that kept me from going back for quite a while because I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do those things. But guess what? Everybody else was feeling the same way. And I kind of missed the boat because everybody else kind of got back into it and started from their COVID bodies. And I didn't for a little while. I wrapped up in my fluffy dressing gown, but I am there now. I'm there to be able to move and to be able to undress, and you take off the layers. And when you think about your body image, then it's not just about the physical appearance. It's about what it does for you. It's not about, are you attractive, are you beautiful, are you young, are or youthful, or whatever words that you want to give to it. So exercise and diet is good. It supports our body, which supports us. It's good for our health, which is really important, especially since a lot of us don't have such great immune systems after being away from people for such a long time. And feeling good in our body can be just things like body tracing. It can just be, and I talked about this on Monday a little bit about mirror work, but it can just be about, just touching your body and feeling good in our body. And that can be just your own arm and hand. That was the hardest thing I learned in burlesque, was body tracing. And it was my hand on my arm, and I felt like I wanted to cry. And if that's how you feel when you touch yourself, I mean, you can do this when you're putting on, moisturizer or something. It just doesn't even have to be a specific exercise, but it would be great if you could put on some music and do that. But what happens is, if you really feel an emotional response, then push through that so that you can change your thinking about your body. So you can affirm, I love my body, I respect my body, I respect myself, I keep discovering new ways that my body supports me, or I allow my body to heal. Those are some of my affirmations. I'm grateful for my healthy body is my favorite one. So right now I'm working on water heals my body and mind, because I really am struggling to get back into water. But I want to come into thinking about, your body and how you would describe your body. So like, let's say your body was a car. Okay, just go with me here. I'm not a big car person, but is your body kind of in Rolls Royce condition? Are you smooth and shiny and flows along reliably, or are you a bit more like me, where I'm a bit of an old banger, and I need I need I need a little bit of, and I find that fun, actually, because I've never been a big car person. I've never wanted a Rolls Royce. So, the fact that my car could break down at any time is a reality. But, is your car going in the wrong direction? Are you shrinking yourself and trying to, be in a little small compact car, or, hoping to go unnoticed? Or are you feeling expansive and loving and grateful for it? And gratitude is so important in this process. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the comments here. Uh, so Yeah, dancing is your go-to. Hazel, dancing's my go-to as well. And I haven't done it. If you haven't done it for ages, then you need to dance more. And it's not about like I won't have time to do a whole class or a whole hour or whatever. Like just put on one piece of music, and just let that flow. Sometimes I dance in my car. So sometimes I'm there at the lights and I wonder what people are thinking because I'm doing a little shimmy and it's only kind of upper body stuff because I can't really do that much. But put on some music, like one piece of music, 3 minutes, and let yourself dance more. If you struggle with dance, as I did, because I was told I have no rhythm, I was told I'm not good at dance, I was told, then if you struggle with that, then just play with a ball. Or I'm really loving balloons right now. Just kind of like batting them around. That's still movement in your body. That's still a form of dance. So you can play with it that way as well. Um, yeah, hiding over the winter is so easily done. Changing your wardrobe, I love that, right? So that's part of the shake up your routine, right? Wear some bright colors. I need to be in black today because I am managing the event, so I'm going to be on and off and around the stage. But I trust me, I'm wearing color underneath because it's so important that I was about to show you there. And I was like, no, wait, don't take your clothes off. This is the wrong place. But yeah, I love that you're going back to your hippie floaty days. I think that's such a beautiful way to move through the world when we just let things flow. I love a floaty skirt. Um, and what are you singing? I do a Tarzan, beat the chest to energize. Oh, that's fabulous. That feels so good. It really, it's a bit like when we sing, right? And I'm not a singer, but I sing in my car a lot. It makes our skeleton vibrate. And in fact, Ryan Francis and I were talking about this yesterday on the sorry, Dis and I were talking about this yesterday on the podcast, which is live now. So you can go and check out Confidence Through Cabaret. And when we talked about that vibration in our body, but this is a beautiful way, Hazel. Yes. Um, or tread cold water in the bath. Okay. Okay. I love that for you. I'm not a bath person, and I'm certainly not a cold water bath person. But yes, um, I used to do a practice in the shower where right when I was finished my beautiful warm shower and I was, and I mean that's a great time to be body tracing, right? Because you're just rubbing soap all over yourself. But I used to do a thing where I would turn off the hot and it would go to cold, and I would stand there in the cold for anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes, and it feels alive. But it's a tough habit to get into. So a cold bath is like really hardcore. I'm so impressed. Balloons, yeah, balloons are a really great way. You can put on one piece of music while you're waiting for your kettle to boil, or you put the dinner in and you're waiting, kind of keeping an eye on it. Then just hit a balloon around with some music. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so have a think about how you would describe yourself, and then what I'm going to take you through is an exercise that I do on my mastermind program around body and mind confidence, and it's really designed to connect with business owners as well, because if you are shrinking in your body, if you're not raising your voice, if you're kind of squishing your diaphragm down and not able to project yourself, then it makes a difference to how you build trust with your potential clients or your actual clients. So it's really very important if you're looking for business results as well, and you're looking for, maybe if you plateaued or you're in a little cul-de-sac with your business, or maybe you're just at the first steps of your business. It is very important that you are unapologetic in your space. So the first step of this kind of little exercise, or what we call journey of discovery, and you can make notes on this. Just use like a keyword or phrase. Like don't get too journaly. Don't write too much, because it can really kind of limit the flow. So keyword or phrase here for each of the stages. So have a think about where you are now, and we'll use our body here. Where are you now in your body, and what's going on for you at this time, and then you can either take this back incrementally by sort of stages in your life, like sort of how were you in your body when you got married, or when you had children, or if you didn't, then when you went traveling, or when you started your business, or whatever it is. What I like to do is start from where I am now, and how am I feeling in my body? And then I like to go back 7 years at a time. So where was I in 7 years ago, and how was I feeling in my body? I know that 7 years ago I was flying all over the world. I was at my peak fitness. I felt absolutely amazing, but I also was working way too hard. So there was some exhaustion going on in my business. And then go back 7 years before that, and then go back 7 years before that. Now, if you're like me, then you're going to be doing several steps in this. And note, just put a few keywords or phrases for, where were you at that point, and how were you feeling in your body? And if you're like me and you have a kind of a business that you've been running for a while. I've been running mine for over 25 years. I do this with my business as well. Um, Sorry, I'm just reading the comments because Hazel's just said I can't sit in a cold bath. Yeah, I'm not that brave. Me too. Yeah, me too. Okay, so go back 7 years and 7 years and 7 years, and if you're only 21, this is going to be a really quick exercise. That's amazing. And but this is something that you can do again a little bit later on. How were you feeling in your body at each stage? So think about what was going on for you at that point, and how were you feeling? And you can think about things like what were you wearing, what was that like, and again, just keywords or phrases, and what changes happened in your body, at each stage, and in your beliefs about your body at each stage, and your confidence about your body and about your what was going on in your world. Maybe you felt more optimistic 7 years ago, or 14 years ago, or 21 years ago. And look, when you've done that exercise and you've gone all the way back as many 7 years as you can, what you'll end up with is that you hit childhood at some point. You probably hit either 7 years or younger. And you can think about what was going on in your body. Now, maybe you don't remember it, but you can imagine it. I twirled. My neighbors used to laugh and say, we love watching you across the street, which is kind of creepy. But they weren't. They would just find it really funny how uninhibited I was, and how I would twirl and dance and jump and leap and do all of the things. And I can remember I had quite flowy skirts and dresses that my mother used to make for me, and I loved those. And I used to wear hers as well. When if I go back to even younger, then how I felt in my body was completely uninhibited and very different to how I was 14 years ago, or even today. So when you've kind of gone back over those 7 years, then have a think about what are the themes that are going on here? What kind of changes, and what do you see that you like? What stages did you like? What characteristics or little phrases or keywords did you know that you like? And which ones do you want to let go of? And if you want to, you can do a kind of a rating system if you want to. If you're more logical or analytical, I'm not a big rater, but you can kind of go like, how did I feel in my body? How am I feeling in my body right now? Maybe that's 6 out of 10, and 7 years ago I was maybe 8 out of 10. And if that works for you, then great. I'm much more of a kind of go with the flow and tune into the feelings, but a rating system could work as well. And then when you've thought about what do you see that you like, that's common themes, and what do you want to let go of, then really you can go into what do you want to change. Now, change starts from accepting our body as it is. Otherwise, it feels like deprivation, like I'm being deprived of food, or I'm being deprived of time because now I've got to exercise and I have to, and there's all that kind of language. And that is willpower, and that will work for a while, but it's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. And if it was, then people wouldn't go back to all of the Weight Watchers, etc. The maintenance of that is very hard if it's willpower. So we start from where we're strong, and we start from feeling good. We're nourishing the seeds that we have now, not the seeds that we used to have or the seeds that we want to have, right? We start from where we're strong, and then we can start to look at what kind of changes do I want to make while I'm loving my body, while I'm feeling good and moving, while I'm tracing my body, while I'm really appreciating and grateful for my body. And when you've thought about those changes, then you can think about, so how do you internalize it? What have you understood or learned from it? And then, and I'm a big fan of this, celebrate that what you have done just by doing the exercise. Like, celebrate that you recognize it, celebrate that you actually put the time in. Oh, okay. I was saying, if I flip a coin, what do you think my chances are of getting hits? I don't know. So that's somebody on YouTube. I'm not sure what that's referring to. I can so much more. I am so much more body confident than I was as a teenager. I love that, Hazel. So when I look at photographs of me, I was so beautiful and I didn't know it then. See, now, okay, here's the deal though. When you look at this time in the future, you're going to see you're not going to see all the lines that you've got, or not that you've got but I've got, or you're not going to see the whatever it is that you're telling yourself that you are right now. You're going to see, I was so beautiful, I was so young, I was so fresh. And it's going to be the same thing going on, which is why we do this exercise backwards, right? We go backwards from where we are now all the way back through. And I love that you can see the beauty in you. Because you are that person still that still shines through. And when we feel good in our body, we can see that youthful glow come back. We can see the children that we were. We can see, play with balloons and dance, and all of that glow will come back. But yeah, I mean, if we knew then what we know now about ourselves, it would be so different, right? It would be so, so different. And that's kind of the point, is going forward, how do you want that to unfold? So really important that you celebrate who you are and where you are, and love yourself right now. Unwrap yourself and allow those seeds to really start to take root and come through the soil and feel beautiful. So your challenge homework is to share something that you love about your body. All right. So for me, I'm not loving it right now, but usually it's something about my hair, because I love to do hair flicks and things when I'm dancing. Um, but then think about the part of your body that you don't love so much, and try and send love to that part of your body that is equal to the part that you love about your body. All right. So if you don't love, for me right now, it's my stomach and my obliques, the sides of my stomach. I'm not loving that so much. And so sending that same kind of love that I send to the parts of my body that I enjoy, to that, and really try and channel it. And the more that you can affirm that beauty and that strength and that worthiness, then the greater that you'll be able to and appreciate and accept your body as it is. And the greater then you'll feel motivated to making the changes that you've chosen to, if you go through the exercise that we've been talking about. So share your experience with us. Optional homework, and I know, Hazel, you are going to love this. Wear something that you have been saving, or something that you don't normally wear. I don't care if it's actually clothes. I don't care if it's perfume. I don't care if it's shoes. Ooh, I'm going to do shoes today. Maybe it's lipstick or makeup or jewelry, but something that you save for best. I have so many things that I save for best, but I'm going to choose one thing today. I think it's going to be shoes, because then I can appreciate. Yeah, I mean, varicose veins. Yeah, you know what though? Like, they're part of life, and they're most especially part of being a woman. So you get to celebrate that. You get to celebrate being a woman. And you know what? Those varicose veins came from years of maybe sitting with your legs crossed. That's certainly where mine came from, or wearing heels, or genetics. And how wonderful is that, that you've inherited such great things, as well as some of the things that you don't love so much. I always say thanks, Mom, for the things that I don't love, but I never really appreciate the things that I do love. So that I've inherited. So time to do that as well. I am going to wear shoes. The reason I've chosen shoes for today is because my ankles are not so strong, but they will hold me up. And I'm going to be able to appreciate that today. And while I'm thinking, my feet hurt, and my ankles aren't so strong, I'm going to change that and flip it into the fact that I'm being held up, that I'm being able to move, that I am strong in my body. And that's where I'm going today. Share with us where you're going, what you're going to do, what you're going to uh, um, embrace or wear that you've been saving, and love on the parts of your body that you don't love so much, just as much. So you start from the part of your body you love, and then you shift it to the parts of your body that you don't love so much, and send love equal to that part of your body as well. Tomorrow we are going to be talking about weeding, so changing our beliefs to keep growing, because of course if you're going to have a garden, if you're going to nourish it, you're going to need to do weeds. Love it. Off to my wardrobe after this. Thank you, thank you. I'd love it if you would share that. I will I will put on my shoes in a few minutes before I go off to set up my event, and I will share that as well. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you if you're watching the replay. Share with us. Hazel, love, so much love to you. Thank you for embracing this and going through this journey with me. I am Heather Jean, and this is Confidence Through Cabaret, reminding you that it is your body, and it is your world, and it is your stage. Take up space and own it. See you tomorrow. Thanks again.